forward on the low stool, his face masked by the shadows from the bunches of herbs swinging above his head. "You don't understand. The man I want to kill is the man who raped my daughter. She's not 12 years old. He hurt her, and she's beside herself with terror that he'll return. I can't accuse him without forever defiling her reputation, and besides, who would take notice of a poor man like me? If I brought such an accusation against a nobleman, he'd only deny it and the sheriff would believe him. Even if he didn't, what could the sheriff do? Fine him, if that, and then he'd be free to take his revenge on me and, worse still, on her. My child will never be able to sleep without fear until that monster is dead, and he deserves to die for what he's done." Gunilda glanced behind her at the small figure of her own daughter curled up asleep under a heap of rags. She was the same age as this man's child. If a man ever touched her daughter, she'd rip his throat out with her own teeth. Any louse who forced himself upon a child deserved more than mere poison. The man had followed her gaze. "For my daughter," he begged. He continued to unwrap the small package, and this time Gunilda made no move to stop him. She gasped when she saw what lay inside. "Can it be? Is it genuine?" But she didn't need him to answer that question, for as soon as she took it in her bare hands, she could feel it stirring to life. It was a black and twisted thing, a shriveled root, shaped like a human with a body, 2 arms, 2 legs, and a face as wrinkled as time itself. A mandrake, a genuine mandrake, and here in her own hands. He was right. It was a creature beyond price. "How did you come by this?" "I acquired it in the Holy Land when I fought for the cross." Gunilda knew that some blood-soaked tale must lurk behind that careful word, acquired, but she didn't press him. There are some answers no one wants to utter or hear. The stranger was watching her intently. "So, you will give me the poison? For the mandrake?" Gunilda hesitated. It wouldn't be the first time she had helped a man to die, though mostly it was some poor soul who, racked with pain or misery beyond enduring, begged her to help them speed their passing. They all came to her, those who could not afford the exorbitant fees of the apothecaries and physicians. She was well loved for her cures, and feared for her curses. But, though the physicians ranted against her, she did only good to the innocent and harm to evil, so she was mostly left in peace. Finally, she rose. "What he's done to your daughter, he'll doubtless do to others. For their sakes, to prevent a greater evil, I'll give you what you need." Before the nocturne bell had finished sounding from the priory, the stranger had slipped out into the stinking alley, a phial of poison safely lodged in his scrip where the mandrake had nestled. Gunilda sat in front of the fire, cradling the tiny creature in her hands, feeling the flutter of life beneath her fingers, the throbbing power rising up through her hands. "What did he give you?" A sleepy little face appeared at her side. Gunilda hugged her daughter tightly to her, thinking of another child. Then she held up the mandrake. "It's something I've only ever dreamed of possessing. It has the power to cure every ill if used well, even to turn back curses upon the sender." "Can I hold it?" her daughter asked. Gunilda shook her head. "It's too dangerous. First, you must learn how to use it well. Used wrongly, it can bring death and worse. I'll teach you all its secrets one day, but there's plenty of time for that. Go back to sleep now." Gunilda wrapped the mandrake carefully again and hid it in the darkest corner of the cottage, in the hollow under a stone in the floor where they kept their coins, on the rare occasions they were ever paid with money. She lay down beside her daughter,